invite Alisha Gajbe. Hello, over to you, Alisha.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Hello and welcome everyone. As we are heading towards to our second session of No Age Series 5.0, I'm your host Alisha Ansras Gajbi, a student of PGTD English Department of Gondwana University. As we all know, No It series has already completed 4 editions. This year, we are conducting fifth edition session, and the second session has already been completed. First session has already been completed, and now we are heading towards to our second session. In this session, today we are exploring ecofeminism and the critique of patriarchy and capitalism. To guide us on the said topic, I would like to welcome Mr. Manoj Hemane sir. Before heading towards to our session, I would like to briefly introduce him. Dr. Manoj Hemane sir, who is an assistant professor, uh, assistant professor and head of English department at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Arts and Commerce and Science College, Gondia. With over 8 years of teaching experience, Mr. Hemane holds MA, MPhil and has cleared NET and SET in English. He has submitted his PhD on reciprocity and symbiosis in select fiction of Alice Walker, an ecofeminist perspective, and has presented over 15 research papers nationally and internationally. His work also features in the book Environment and Natural Disaster. Today, he will talk on the important topic ecofeminism and critique of patriarchy and capitalism. Let's warmly welcome him. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, all of you. Good morning, Atul sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to deliver a lecture in your Noise series 5.0, which is organized by PGTD of English, Gondwana University, Gadchiroli. Today, we will discuss about on the ecofeminism and the critique of patriarchy and capitalism. And in this talk, we will understand what is ecofeminism, and after that, then we will go deep into how the ecofeminism deconstruct patriarchy as well as capitalism with literary references, real-world movement, and philosophical insight. First of all, we discuss about what is ecofeminism. As we say, ecofeminism is a movement that links the oppression of women with the nature's exploitation. The term ecofeminism, which is coined by Frances Dubon in 1974 in her book Death of Feminism, and ecofeminism is a movement as well as is a theory which is developed in the 1970s and that draws parallels between how society treats nature and how it treats women. Francois Tabon introduced these terms in 1974, calling for women's leadership in solving environmental problems. Ecofeminism combines feminism as well as ecology. And today it is very important to save the ecology. This movement combines ecological awareness with feminist theory. It argues both women and nature are dominated in similar way. It challenges system of domination that exploit both women and environment. It focuses on gender, race, class, and environmental justice. It challenges patriarchy and capitalism. It emphasizes that nature and women have been historically viewed as passive, nurturing, and therefore they were exploitable. Ecofeminism advocates for transformative in values from control and exploitation to care and sustainability. It recognizes that women as a key agent of ecological preservation, especially in indigenous and rural contexts. It promotes balance between human activity and the natural world. And it is today's need to make balance between the human activity and the natural world. There is a quote: the domination of women and nature are two faces of the same coin. It means domination of women is like a domination of nature, and therefore there is a need of balance between two. Next is patriarchy. What is patriarchy? Patriarchy and there is what is the relation between the patriarchy and the nature. Patriarchy, all of you know, patriarchy is a system where men hold primary power and dominate role in leadership, authority, and control. Means in the patriarchy, there is male is in the power of family, as well as like that. If you see the relation between patriarchy and nature seen as a mother earth but not protected. We call mother earth मातृभूमी, आपण काय म्हणतो मातृभूमी, but we cannot protect, we do not protect mother earth, we do not protect our earth. We are trying to make deforestation, and that is very harmful to our human society. As well as we use like language like tame nature, so control mindset, that is the control of patriarchy. In patriarchal society, nature is often personified as feminine, but treated with disrespect and exploitation. Just like in the history we have seen women are exploited. Just like today, the nature is also exploited like women. Nature is viewed as something to be controlled. Just like a woman, nature is also controlled by the patriarchal society, much like how women have historically been treated. Both women and nature are devalued, controlled. They are expected to be passive, productive. The work or the task of women or the nature is also only productive. They are self-sacrificing. And that's why patriarchy promotes only human domination over all. Patriarchy in the patriarchal society, men are dominated women as well as the nature. Next, we can see the relation between the patriarchy and women. Women in traditional work, women are always unpaid or unrecognized. Women are often confined to traditional roles such as only caregiver, homemaker, only caretaker, and only agriculture uses in the past days, as well as these roles, though essential in the family or the society, but these are undervalued and in economic and political system. Women are usually excluded for decision making or the policies making about cure to the environment, policies on land right. Their deep knowledge of plants, seeds, herbs, and sustainable farming is overlooked and dismissed. In many societies, girls have limited access to education or the science education or the environmental education. We see women are blamed for overpopulation. काय म्हटलं जातं, जर आपण आपल्या समाजामध्ये बघतो, जर कंटिन्युअसली जर पहिली दुसरी मुलगी झाले तर तो दोष कोणाचा समजला जातो? मुलींचा दोष समजला जातो. त्यामध्ये स्त्रीचा दोष समजला जातो, पुरुषाचा दोष समजला जात नाही. बट इफ यू थिंक सायंटिफिकली that is main problem is of male, and that's why in the patriarchy समाज आपला patriarchy आहे, पुरुष प्रधान समाज आहे. आणि त्यामुळे काय होत असतो, हा पुरुष प्रधान समाजामध्ये पुरुष हा मुख्य ठिकाणी असल्यामुळे तो प्रत्येकावर त्याचं एक डॉमिनेशन, स्त्रीवर निसर्गावर त्याचं डॉमिनेशन तो लादण्याचा प्रयत्न करत असतो. विमेन आर ऑफन blamed for social problem. Patriarchy, domestic work is not counted in GDP. आपण सकाळपासून जर विचार केला, स्त्री ही कुटुंबामध्ये तिच्या फॅमिलीमध्ये सकाळपासून ती राबत असते, पण त्याचं जीडीपी मध्ये कोणत्याही पद्धतीने त्याला इन्क्लूड केल्या जात नाही. दॅट कॅन नॉट बी काउंटेड इन जीडीपी अँड दॅट कॅन नॉट बी अकाउंटेड. Patriarchy restrict women roles in leadership, limiting their ability to bring ecological perspective into mainstream discourse. And that's why patriarchy weakens both social and ecological system. There is a quote, to control women and to control nature has been the mission of patriarchal power. That is the main motto of patriarchy, to control women as well as the nature and society. Next, there is a relation between, I change the slide, but it's wait, there is problem of network. Capitalism and nature. What is the relation between capitalism and nature? Capitalism always focus on profit or planet. In capital society, in capitalism, human being only focuses on profit. They do not think about what will be the future of human. Capitalism priorities economic growth, consumptions, and profit over ecological and social well-being. It treats nature as a resource to be used, bought and sold for only financial gain. From the nature, human beings think about only how and what we can gain. Forests are cut down for timber, rivers are dammed for hydroelectricity. Only think about economical growth. Land is cleared for industries, cities, and we can see the forests are, or the trees are cut down for the sake of development. Human being only think about development. He or they only think about short time gain. They cannot think about the long term consequences which can be, which these act often ignored ecological consequences like loss of biodiversity, climate change, soil erosion. Like this problem we have to face in our future. Capitalist model, there is no value given to the ecological balance. There is need to balance between human activity as well and the ecology, that is the environment. Capitalist model encourage overproduction and consumerism, which contribute to environmental degradation. The capitalism always leads to pollution, deforestation, and extinction. It ignores local needs and traditions. Capitalist development disregard traditional ecological practices. It ignores local needs and tradition. Environmental damage seen as a progress. Human being or the ecofeminism criticizes this economic model for its short-term gain at the cost of long-term environmental damages. Next, capitalism and women. Change the slide, but okay. Capitalism and women. Women's unpaid domestic work support capitalist economy. In capitalist society, women's labor, especially in the home or in the agriculture, is often unpaid. And that's why it cannot be accounted in GDP or the economic growth. Farming women lose rights when big companies arrive. When big companies arrive in the village area or the forest area, they construct their companies and they extract the rights of women from women. Large corporations take over land resources, often displacing small farmer and indigenous women. Companies patents companies just like seeds are patented and sold, harming women's farmers. That's companies patent seeds and agriculture technology, making it hard for women to practice traditional and sustainable farming. Labor exploitation in textile and care industry. As we see in the big textile companies or the industries, the labor are exploited. Many women work in low paying, exploiting industries like garment industries, garment factories, domestic care, advertisement, objectifying women and sell products. Advertising and media often reduces women to object for selling products. Women are used only for are used like an object for selling product, reflecting deeper cultural commodification. Women's health and safety are neglected. And this capitalist society, women's safety or the women's health is neglected. Women's indigenous women's land is taken for mining and tourism. In forest area, the land of farmers or the indigenous women are taken from them for the mining or the tourism. Capitalism increases both gender and class gap. We see capitalism always increase inequality in society by enriching the powerful while worsening the condition for marginalized women. Women nature connection. What is the relation between women and nature? Both are seen as same. There is a reciprocal relation between the women and nature. In ecofeminism, and ecofeminist always says there is a close connection between the women and nature. Why both are connected to each other? Because the nature of women as well as the nature of nature is both nature of both is reproductive. Women especially Women often depend directly on nature for survival. Women, especially in the rural area or the tribal communities, rarely on the rely on natural resources for daily survival. We see in the rural area or the forest area, the people or the women totally depend on the resources from forest or the natural environment. Rural women gather water, firewoods, and herbs. They collect firewood, fetch water, and grow fruits for their families. Climate change affect women first. First of all, whenever climate change, the problem have to face by women. Climate change increases the burden of women. They have to work. जेव्हा उन्हाळा लागत असतो तेव्हा काय होत असतं पहिल्यांदा सगळ्यात जो मोठा पहिला परिणाम पडत असतो दॅट इज ऑन द विमेन. विमेनवर पहिला परिणाम पडत असतो. दे हॅव टू वर्क walk long distance for water, which is burdening. त्यांच्यावर जो बर्डन पडत असतो तो कशामुळे चालण्यामुळे त्यांना पाण्यासाठी त्यांना भटकंती करावा लागत असतो. ऍज वेल ॲज ड्रॉट इन्क्रीजेस विमेन ओव्हरलोड. ड्रॉटमुळे त्यांना ओव्हरलोड त्यांना जास्त परिश्रम करावा लागत असतो. ऍज वेल ॲज वेन एव्हर नॅचरल डिझास्टर्स happens, displace women more. Natural disaster disproportionately affect women both physically as well as socially. Women are women pass down knowledge of healing and farming. Women are knowledge keeper of traditional medicine as well as the ecological balance. They often resist environmental destruction because they see its impact firsthand. And the whenever destruction happen, whenever environmental destruction happen, the first impact on the women. Respecting women means respecting life. Their relationship with nature is rooted in care, respect, and sustainability. And that's why ecofeminism sees this bond as sacred, not weak. Ecofeminism highlights the deep bond as central to environmental healing. There is a quote, there can be no environmental justice without gender justice. There is a need of gender justice. If there is a gender justice, there will be environmental justice. We have seen the real life example of ecofeminism, just like there is in history, there is a Chipko Andolan in India where women hug trees to stop deforestation. Women in Uttarakhand hug trees to protect forests for logging. These peaceful protect brought environmental issues into national focus. There is a second point is green belt movement in Kenya. In Kenya, there is a green belt movement which is started by Wangari Maathai, where women planted millions of trees and they they have started this movement to promote environmental awareness. There is in India, there is the movement Navdanya. Navdanya is a movement which is started by Vandana Shiva, and this movement where Vandana Shiva started this movement for, in this movement, they wanted to protect seed diversity and support organic farming by women. In USA, there is a standing rock movement where indigenous women led water protection. In US, indigenous women protest against oil pipeline threatening water sources. In many regions, we see women's run ecotourism and conservation cooperatives, as well as like this movement protect both people and planet. And there is a need of such a movement. There is a quote, ecofeminism is not just a theory, it is a resistance in action. Ecofeminism is not only a theory, it is not only for study, not only for understanding, there is a need of action. We can see the example of ecofeminism in our literature. I change the slide. Wait. Ecofeminism in literature. There is a Mary Shelley's a Frankenstein, where in this novel she wants there is once again unchecked scientific ambition and destruction of nature. In Margaret Atwood's Handmaid's Tale, shows how women's bodies are controlled like natural resources. We can see the Arundhati Roy's, where it is a very famous novel, The God of Small Things, and which is and for this novel she has got Pulitzer Awards. And in this novel, she links environmental damages with the caste and gender injustice. In Mass with Devi's stories, she focuses on tribal women who fought for land and dignity. And there is Alice Walker, the American black writer novelist who connects healing from trauma and with land and nature. In her novels, The Color Purple or other most of her novels, she collects the healing power from trauma with land and nature. In Toni Morrison novel, portrays land as a spiritual and ancestral. And we can see or we have read, if you have read more literature, literature helps to understand ecofeminism emotionally and intellectually. What ecofeminism wants? Right? Ecofeminism, what ecofeminism wants? Ecofeminism always wants rights, equal rights and dignity for both women and nature. It women should be part of environmental decision making process. Ecofeminism promotes local and sustainable ways of living, such as organic farming. It reduces dependence on corporation for food and resources. It stops overusing water, air, soil, and forest for short-term gain. Ecofeminism educates everyone, especially girls, in ecology and sustainability, protect the planet, biodiversity, and cultural diversity, build societies that value care, cooperation, and ecological balance or profit. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Atul sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity to deliver our lecture on your No Age series. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. If anyone has any doubts, you feel free to ask and or drop your question in the chat box.
Sir, I have a question for you. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, bole.
All men benefit from patriarchy, or do some women benefit from patriarchy? So, who is to be more limited and harmed by patriarchal beliefs and practices? What do you think?
Pardon, please. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Please repeat the question.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Question is,
There,
do
there,
all men benefit from patriarchy, or do some
yeah.
women benefit from patriarchy? But what will you say about who is to be more limited and harmed by patriarchal beliefs and practices? What do you think on this?
In patriarchal society, women are always oppressed, and if you see from the history, women are oppressed, and in patriarchal society, always men sees women as a secondary, and in patriarchal society, women have to always face problem, or they have to she has to face problem, and as well as she has to uh, what can we say? She has to always understand the problem of men, because of in the male dominated society there is a patriarchy. In our India there is a patriarchy. पुरुष प्रधान समाज, पुरुष प्रधान संस्कृती असल्या कारणाने आपल्या समाजामध्ये काय होत असतं की खूप साऱ्या ज्या स्त्रियांनाच प्रत्येक गोष्टीमध्ये कॉम्प्रोमाइज, सी हॅज टू कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑलवेज. अँड दॅट्स वाय सगळ्यात जास्त जर लॉस होत असेल तर त्यामध्ये स्त्रियांचाच लॉस ह्या पॅट्रिआर्कीमध्ये होत असतं. आणि ऑलवेज मेन गेन प्रॉफिट फ्रॉम पॅट्रिआर्की. ओके.
बट सर, डू यू रिअली थिंक दॅट स्त्रियांनाच नेहमी जास्त समजण्याची गरज आहे किंवा स्त्रियाच नेहमी सोचतात? बिकॉज नाउ डेज वी आर गेटिंग सम इन्सिडेंट by news that many of the male are getting to be harmed by women's
Yeah,
in India today.
nowadays,
Yes.
yes, yes. In India today, there are such a problem nowadays happening.
Okay, and my last question for you, sir, that how can we educate and engage future generations about the importance of feminism and its engaging struggle for equality?
In future and today's also, there is a need to save the earth or the save the nature, because it is future need and it is present news. It is a present needs. There are so many problems. There are global warming, problem like global warming, deforestation, and there is a need to educate our students or our society. आपला समाज असो किंवा आपले विद्यार्थी असो, सगळ्यांना समाजाप्रती किंवा निसर्गाप्रती अवेअर करणे ही आजच्या काळाची, इन द प्रेझेंट डेज, ही गरज झालेली आहे. प्रत्येकाला अवेअर करणे किंवा प्रत्येकाला समजवून सांगणे किंवा प्रत्येकाला समजायला पाहिजे व्हॉट इज द नीड ऑफ एन्व्हायरमेंट. एन्व्हायरमेंटमुळे का कोणते फायदे किंवा कोणते नुकसान, दिवसेंदिवस आपल्याला जे नुकसान होत आहेत ते नुकसान आपल्याला समजून घेणे गरजेचं आहे. आणि ते प्रत्येकातून, आणि दॅट्स वाय इन एनईपी मध्ये काय झालं, खूप साऱ्या गोष्टी एन्व्हायरमेंट इज स्पेशली द सब्जेक्ट एन्व्हायरमेंट इज स्पेशली ऍडेड इन एनईपी इन द फर्स्ट इयर मध्ये आपण बघतो एनईपी मध्ये एन्व्हायरमेंट सब्जेक्ट ऍड केलेला आहे. बिकॉज ऑफ देर इज अ नीड टू अंडरस्टँड environment and the problem which we have to face in the present era.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
sir. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, thank
Sir,
you.
I have a question for you. Sir,
Boलिए.
how can be ecofeminist principle be applied to policy making and sustainable agriculture?
In policy making, most of the decision maker are men, and that's why they only think about, or they think from the perspective of men. ते विचार करतात फक्त कोणत्या बाजूने, पुरुषांच्या बाजूने. अँड feminist not only feminist or in the feminism, they feminist not only think about, they not only fight for the rights of women, they think about, they ecofeminist wants the balance balance between the rights of men and the rights of women. They think about both have to right, the same right, women and the men. In the rural area, we can see the in the rural area, in the most in the we can see the problem of wages. स्त्री आणि पुरुषांमध्ये आपण बघतो ग्रामीण भागामध्ये जो वेजेस मजुरीचा म्हटलं त्यामध्ये फरक, किंवा पॉलिसी मेकिंग जर विचार केला आपण, इफ देर इज विमेन इन द पॉलिसी मेकिंग कमिटी, देर विल बी सम पॉइंट्स विच विल बेनिफिट टू द विमेन. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any more?
Okay. What sense? Hello.
As we shall I continue, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
Go ahead.
As we come to the close of this wonderful session, it's time to express our gratitude to all those who made this event a success. To formally deliver the vote of thanks, I now invite Ms. Ritu Bhamre to come forward and share the words of her appreciation.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Ritu.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon to each one of you present here. Ritu Manoj Bhamre, MA final year, PGTD of English, Gondwana University, Gadchiroli. We have reached to the end of today's session of Know It Series 5.0 2025. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our chairperson of the program, Dr. Vivek Joshi sir, for organizing beautiful and very effective session for us. I am extremely thankful for today's chief guest and speaker, Manoj Hemane sir, for giving us beautiful, thoughtful, and important guidance on ecofeminism and the critique of patriarchy capitalism. So, thank you so much, sir, for this beautiful session. I would like to express my gratitude to the PGTD of English Facility Organizing Team of Know Series 5.0 for the wonderful arrangement. I would like to thank all the participants of today's fourth session for attending and your cooperation for being the major part to make this session successful. I would also like to thank today's session host, Ms. Alisha Gajbie, for giving me the opportunity to vote of thanks. Last but not the least, I appreciate and thanks everyone for your participation to make No Age series session successful. And here, I declare this session is over. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you, sir, for